Azuregos and Kazzak are the first two raid bosses of World of Warcraft Season of Discovery Phase 4. Both of these former world bosses now have instant zones where you can go in and fight them. They're max level raids requiring level 60 to enter, and they're recommending 20 players, but they allow up to 40. First, well, let's talk about Azuregos. This boss is in Azshara, with the entrance at coordinates 3381. Making your way into the instance portal, you'll zone into an identical area of the zone and need to hunt down the boss. There are several cliff walkers as well as other mobs in the area, and eventually you're going to find some frozen ones. That'll lead you towards where the boss is at. Once you've found Azuregos, kill all the mobs in the general area before engaging the boss. You don't want to accidentally tag one and have to deal with it while dealing with boss mechanics. Once you have a clear area, start up the boss. This boss only really requires one tank, but it's kind of recommended to have two just in case the main tank gets CC'd. The boss has 7 abilities. First off is a cleave. Everybody in a cone in front of him will take damage every time he swipes. Chill is a debuff that he places on nearby raid members. This does a burst of damage and then reduces your movement speed and time between your attacks significantly. Those that can remove magical effects should remove these from your melee fighters, as the reduced attack speed is crippling. Frost Breath is a cone in front of him that deals high damage and freezes targets in ice. This needs to be interrupted as often as it possibly can. It getting off is a significant hindrance to the fight. If your main tank does get CC'd by this, you need your off tank to then take threat to make sure he doesn't start cleaving down your DPS. Mana Storms are blizzard-like events that he's going to spawn around the area. These sap mana from you while you're in them, as well as deal damage and slow you. You need to get out of these ASAP. If any player dies during this mechanic, they will get Mark of Frost. This means if they are battle res, they'll be battle resed into a frozen ice cube and be unavailable for 15 minutes. The battle reses are not an option. The main mechanic of this fight is the magic reflection. He's going to gain a buff that sends all magical spells back at the caster. Your magical DPS need to stop casting at him whenever he gains this buff and wait for the buff to fall off before they can deal their damage. Finally, occasionally, he's going to cast Teleport. This will pull everybody in the area immediately underneath him. Ranged need to get out as fast as they can before the chill effect comes out, slowing them significantly. Due to this magic reflection and the slowing attack speed from chill, this is a long boss encounter. Your DPS are not going to be at their peak throughout the entire fight, and it's going to be a slog. Although a very long fight, there's no significant effects during this boss that are going to make it crippling. You just need to take your time and take him down. The second boss, Lord Kazzak, can be found in the Blasted Lands. Just at the entrance of the Tainted Scar is his instance portal. Zoning in, you're going to enter into these gray fields with a bunch of demons all about. The raid group needs to move throughout the fields, looking for 3 enlarged versions of the mobs throughout. Once you've killed the 3 massive commanders, Kazzak will spawn and the fight begins. Dispels are extremely important in this fight, and anybody able to remove magical effects is going to be key to actually taking this boss down. First up, anybody that dies near Kazzak is going to heal him for around 70,000 health. So deaths are absolutely crippling to taking this boss down. He does have a cleave effect, so you only want the main tank to be in front of him at all times. Mark of Kazzak is a debuff that's going to go on multiple players. This drains their mana. If any player with this debuff reaches 0 mana, they explode for 6,000 damage to themselves as well as everybody around them. This effect can be dispelled, but make sure to keep yourself above 400 mana at all times. Twisted Reflection will also go on multiple people. If he melees a target with Twisted Reflection, he heals 25,000 HP. If this effect goes onto the tank, the off-tank needs to taunt. This effect needs to get dispelled as quickly as possible to make sure that he is never healed from this effect. The boss has 2 AoE abilities. First is Shadow Bolt Volley. This is going to fire off and hit targets, and it ignores line of sight. The second ability is Thunderclap. Anybody nearby can take a burst of damage for this, which reduces your melee attack speed. He will also occasionally cast Void Bolt onto the main tank. This does a huge chunk of damage and needs to be healed up ASAP. Overall, this boss is much more likely to end up wiping the party, as players need to be constantly dealing with the dispel effects, and he does significantly more damage. After about 3 minutes in the fight, the boss's damage buffs dramatically, and he starts melting your team. You need to burn him a lot faster. These 2 bosses are going to respawn 2 times a week, so you want to be able to get in there and take these bosses down every opportunity that you can get. Hunters are going to want to kill Azuregos as often as they can until they get the mature dragon sinew to be able to make their quiver. Priests are going to want to take down Lord Kazzak every week until they're able to get the Eye of Shadow. This is going to be important for getting your benediction staff. So these are the 2 new bosses now live in Season of Discovery Phase 4. I hope this guide helped you out. I'm Zeti Fresh Kazaza Games, and we'll catch you guys next time.